Hello, hello. My name is Aaron Browning, and welcome to the Solar Sales Uncensored podcast. I am so freaking excited. This has been a brainchild of ours for months to come, and we are here officially launching. Super excited that each and every one of you are plugging in, and we have an amazing guest for our kickoff show, Mr. Chris Hart. For those of you that don't know, and let me pull him up on camera, by the way, for those of you that are going to watch this on YouTube. For those of you that don't know, Chris Hart, he is an amazing leader. He's one of my best friends. I've had the privilege of being a business partner of his on many of our ventures together, most of which are highly profitable, right? You got to fail forward a little bit. He comes from the real estate cloth, as do I. He has led some of the top real estate teams across this country. Oh, by the way, I'm talking teams that sell homes in the thousands per year, right? Not the little mom and pop donks, as I like to call them. He is a leadership coach. He is a street ninja. His frameworks around scripting are stuff that I've never even seen taught anywhere else. He was a personal leadership coach of mine. He is an amazing father to 3 kids. He is an amazing husband. He's just a downright kick-ass dude. Chris, how the hell are you, man?
Man, I'm doing great, dude. I'm doing after that introduction. How could you be anything but?
It's so true, man. So if you live up to half of it, we're going to be good, right?
Right? For real, man. Just don't Google my name.
Yeah. But I'm excited, man. I couldn't think of a better first guest than you. So I'm ecstatic that you said yes and you squeezed us in. I know our audience is going to learn a ton from you. So I'll start with a heartfelt thank you, man. Honestly.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I'm honored that you asked me to be your first guest, and at some point you'll probably be on episode 1352, and this one will be long in the past. But hey, I'm honored that we get to kick this off together.
That's cool, man. Well, for those that don't know you, and obviously they'd have to be living under a rock, obviously not from solar or real estate for sure. Do you mind giving a quick lowdown to our audience about your background and what you're up to nowadays?
Yeah, absolutely. I think where I like to start sometimes is that, I had an 8-year career in the United States Army. I was both enlisted and officer. Had a great time in the 82nd Airborne Division. And I say all that to say, because when I got out in 2005, I moved to Myrtle Beach, got into real estate. I really didn't know what I wanted to do in life. So I was like, hey, man, let's go sell some real estate down at the beach. That'll be fun. Do that for a couple years. And then, I guess we'll grow up and pretend like we're adults. And when I say we, my wife, we were, newly married, that sort of thing. But interestingly enough, man, I got into real estate. I didn't know anybody here in Myrtle Beach. And, they gave me 1,000 business cards and a name tape, and they said, good luck. And so I looked at those as 1,000 opportunities for people to get to know me and me to be able to, kind of communicate to them. And I say it because that was really the framework of my success that I had in real estate, everything from, being a rookie year, my first year, starting my own brokerage, year 2, thinking that everything, but quickly realizing nothing. And that was a big fail forward. We definitely went forward, but we definitely failed in that. And then was recruited off to Keller Williams to go turn around some of their offices in the Carolinas, and had a great time. Went up to Massachusetts and ran a 7th level team up there. And then moved back to Myrtle Beach, got into full-time coaching. I've coached with MAPS Coaching and Tony Robbins' organization, and been with his leadership team for a long time. And then there was that phone call, man. And that phone call about, hey, man, what do you know about solar? And so here I am. We're doing solar now.
Let's take a deep dive on that, man. What was that famous phone call? What did it look like? What the hell happened?
Man, well, I think it started because, interestingly enough, somebody knocked on my door. Vivint. Vivint, I had Vivint home security, and they did a great job of following up and introducing the fact they had solar. And the funny part was they wanted to do a proposal. They had it for me. I was like, hey, look, I don't need the whole hoopla. Let's talk at the numbers. And they wanted to do their presentation. So I said, I'm going to go find something else. And I went to Facebook, asking, anybody know any reputable solar companies? And that's when you gave me a call. You're like, hey, what do you got going on with solar? Man, I was looking to put some panels on my roof. Like, I'm in South Carolina. The sun bakes my house all day. And then you just were like, hey, man, you got to check out this video. do me a favor, watch this video, give me a call back, typical Aaron Browning. And then you hung up. And I was in my gym, my garage gym. I was working out, and I was like, all right, well, typical. I'll watch the video while I'm working out. And I started watching the video, and I'm like, what? And it like strung me along for about 15 minutes. And then I got done, and I called you back, and man, I was like, this is the EXP of solar.
100%.
This is the EXP of solar.
You left off one key thing, man. Don't forget, this is uncensored. Like, this is not staged, polished. This is real. There's no edits. By the way, you will never see us edit one of these podcasts. Good or bad, it is what it is, right? What call were you? Like, were you the second call? Were you the 10th call?
Oh yeah, I was the first call. Let's tell the audience a little bit of background behind that. It's one of our previous business opportunities that we participated in. I wasn't your first call. I was like number 7. And I always gave you a lot of garbage for that. And, I guess this time around when you came across the opportunity, I'm either the sucker that you like to recruit first, or, you actually honored, being the first call. So, interestingly enough, though, for audience to understand, I had recently, a few months before that phone call, lost my mom. We were going through a probate battle. It was a, pretty nasty beginning to what's still a battle. But man, I was not in any place prepared, looking for, wanting to start anything new, right? Like, I had my coaching business, things were going good, very profitable. And I just wasn't in a place really mentally or even emotionally to take on something new, especially like we joke around all the time. We started in this game called Solar, and all we knew was SOLAR, spelt solar. After that, like, what do we do? So to say that I wasn't in the position, ready, wanting, or needing something new in my life, it definitely didn't help the fact that we knew absolutely nothing. But I say that to say, like, when I saw the video and I was like, man, this is the EXP of solar. You and I came over to EXP. I remember agents 2,887 and 88, right? And we saw what EXP grew into, which is now 70,000, 80,000 agents strong. And over the years, we've literally seen people become millionaires because of the model. And so I said yes when I should have said no. I wish I said no, but I'm glad I said yes, sort of thing, because, it was stressful, right? It was stressful going through that, trying to, bring on a new business opportunity and learn it. But I knew I had to say yes because I knew how the story ends, man. I knew how the story ends.
A lot of nuggets there to kind of dissect, especially for the audience. This is something you and I teach for daily. We taught it for years. Opportunity is everywhere, right? Most people just have their head down and they're blind to it. What I love about what you just said, and I really hope the audience picks it up, timing was awful. You can't see my head. Timing was awful. You knew nothing about what solar was, so what the opportunity was. You knew you had a friend that you trusted, that we've done business with, right? So you had someone of influence, if you will. And then I think the bigger factor there that really, and I'm speaking for you, that caused you to jump in and really run with this thing is you knew the model. You knew the model. We say this every single day, guys. We know how this movie ends. Yeah. We know how it ends. We've already done it at EXP, and solar's 1,000 times bigger because you don't need a real estate license. You're not in love with your brokerage. Like that, honestly, Chris and I haven't slept for however many months we've been here now, 7 or 8. I'm still in shock. I am still in shock that God blessed us with an EXP round 2 right in our life. Like, you're not supposed to get 2 at bats for that, man.
Let's talk about that, man. Like, we can't just blow past the God thing. How God factors into my life. There's 2 things there, right? Like, when I said yes to this, I knew, hey, I know the story ends. If this is meant to be, God will open the doors, right? We'll figure this piece out. I trust myself, I trust you, and I trust together that we can figure this piece out. And if it wasn't meant to be, I knew God would close the doors. But really what it boiled down to was I dropped the ball when we came over to EXP. My coaching business at the time, my portfolio was like full. I couldn't take on another client. And that was at the time where, Keller Williams and EXP were going head to head. And I was losing Keller Williams coaching clients, because my association to EXP. It was just a real interesting dilemma that I never took serious, because I'm not going to lie, like I played not to lose in my coaching business because it was multiple six-figure income versus playing to win, because maybe I didn't see how big that really could have been. But I look back and I see how big it became and that I didn't take it serious. And when I looked at this opportunity, I was like, if I say no to this, right? Like God doesn't move in our lives when things are easy, convenient, we're ready for them, right? Like there's that saying that God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called, excuse me. And so when I saw this, I was like, all right, God, I mean, if there's going to be a time where you're going to give me a second chance at a huge opportunity that could massively change the trajectory of my life and my legacy for years to come, now's the time when I'm going through, you know, this hardship. And I believe that's when God tests our faith, right? And when he goes, hey, do you trust me? Right? Like I trust me. I've been through a lot. I trust you. We've done business together. But he's like, well, do you trust me? And so that was a big reason why I said yes. I said, you know, I trust God. I trust myself. I trust him. Like there's a triune right there. Let's go do this.
Love it. One of the things you haven't touched on here that I think is important, once again, we got to go back to the uncensored, like it's really going to be the root of what we do here on this journey is you said yes for the various reasons that we just went over. But you also woke up every day looking for a reason to call me and say, bro, I'm out. Can you touch on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I said yes to secure my space, right? To secure my spot, to start navigating, to see what this is really like, right? Is God going to open doors? Is God going to close doors? And quite frankly, like I was really hoping more on the lines that God was going to close some doors so I could come back to you and be like, bro, I thought about it. I prayed about it. I just don't think this is right. And so I was literally looking for every reason, like, all right, the company's going to screw up. It's only a matter of time. I can be an out on that. Something's going to happen. Aaron will piss me off. I was looking for it, right? Just give me that one freaking door to walk through so I can close the door on this opportunity. And the more I looked for it, interestingly enough, they say that where your energy goes, energy flows, right? Like I was putting energy toward, I'm not gonna lie, I was putting energy towards closing the door of this opportunity. And the more I looked for reasons not to do it, you know what I found? Every reason why we had to do this. And I remember calling you up. I don't know if you remember the phone call, but I called you up and I said, bro, I'm not going to lie. I've looked for every reason not to do this. We can't not do this at this point. So, yeah.
I love that, man. I love it. And obviously, I'll speak for you again and correct me if I'm wrong. Having his background, my background, leading top real estate sales teams, the top 1% across the country, regardless of brokerage. I think it's fair to say that we get pitched opportunities daily, like all the time. Obviously, you have been pitched hundreds and hundreds of ideas, opportunities, businesses, joint ventures, JVs, as they say in the real estate world. What jumped out at you now that you've been here for 6-7 months, however long it's been? Like, is there anything that jumped out at you with our current opportunity centered around solar?
Yeah. When I looked at this, right, like I like to pretend I'm a businessman, right? Or I'm just a man pretending to play business, whatever you want to call it. But my brain thinks from a businessman type situation. So when I looked at it, I was like, oh, I'm not going to just jump into this because it's solar, it's new, it's cool. Let's look at the solar industry. And I did research on the solar industry. And, you've always said, a mentor of mine said, the person that solves the biggest problem makes the most amount of money. Well, what I found, the reason why solar was even a thing is because it's solving a massive problem that can't otherwise be solved, which is the grid is 130 plus years old, antiquated, massively overwhelmed. They're introducing the EV market, brownouts, blackouts, like all those problems that the government had, and they're not going to spend their money, right? They're not going to spend their money to upgrade the grid. So when I saw that they were putting massive tax incentives, like when you understand wealth and how the wealthy people do things, their number one strategy is tax credits. right? Like when you hear certain famous people, I won't mention names, right? But there's one very famous person that's accused of not paying taxes. But the fact of the matter is, all the elites don't pay taxes because they understand tax strategies, and the biggest one is tax credits. And so when I saw the government, implement that 26% federal income tax credit and then increase it to 30, extend it out 10 years, that's when I knew. I was like, this can't not fail. It can't not fail.
Love it, man. Love it. I think you do. You've always been extremely gifted at painting the vision. And really more importantly, you won't get associated with something that doesn't have a vision.
Right.
So on that topic, where do you see solar going in the next 10, 15 years?
Where do I see it going? So, interestingly enough, people say solar is the future, right? And what I like to tell them is, well, the future's here, right? And so we first need to understand that it's here right now because it's solving a massive problem, right? And so when you understand the fact of what that mentor told you, that the person that solves the biggest problems will make the most amount of money, solar's solving a big problem in our country. And where I see it is kind of where Ford came in with his Model T, right? He had a vision that one day every human being would be driving a vehicle, right? He hoped it was his, and Ford does a great job still today with market share. But when the Model T came in and replaced the horse and buggy, it met a lot of resistance, right? Like, oh, this is just a fad sort of thing. Well, look at us now, right? You look around, it's like every driveway has at least 2 vehicles, okay? Same thing. We're in an energy revolution. I believe in 5 years from now, 80% of the homes are going to have solar on their roof, right? And the 20% are the people that are just unwilling to adopt, can't afford, whatever the case may be. They're just going to resist it because there's always an outlier, right? Typically it's 10%. But eventually, I believe, whether that's 10 years or 15 years from now, our children's children, right? Like my daughter's 16, right? She'll be 26. She'll be having kids. Oh, the only thing they'll know is that their homes will be powered by solar, right?
Powerful.
And then one day sitting on the rocking chair, drinking whatever, looking back, talking to our grandkids, when they're learning history and the history of America and how it went through this transformation, this energy revolution and transformation, they're going to say, Grandpa, you owned a house that was powered by like that old stuff, not solar, and you were part of selling solar? Yes, sweetheart. Right? Like, right. You know what we're doing right now? We are etching our names in history.
If that doesn't give you goosebumps, by the way, I don't know what does. I mean, that's part of what keeps us fired up, man. I love it.
And so let me turn the clock back a little bit, right? And so when I said I was looking for every reason, to jump and bail on this, I don't want this to sound like it's perfect. It's one of those too good to be true. Like selling solar, it's construction, right? You're going to have your issues on your projects, project managers, whatever the case may be, right? Nothing is perfect. And if you are someone that looks for reasons to quit easily, you're going to find them. I promise you that. You will find them. But here's the thing. What we found was the opportunity was so much bigger than the problem. And when you see solar here and cast it out, like I don't want to be the grandfather one day where my grandkids go, Grandpa, every time you faced a problem, what did you do? Oh, sweetheart, I just quit and, ran the other direction. I want to be the grandfather that says, press in, press on. Here's why.
Yep.
Right? Like
I remember one of my mentors years ago.
Pioneers.
Yeah, 100%, man. We're paid in direct proportion to the size of the problem that we solve.
That's right.
I love that you touched on that. We'll do a separate podcast on that. I mean, I had to let someone go a couple weeks ago. Literally, first problem that arose. I mean, it was like hair was burning, house was on fire. I mean, everything. And I was like, sweetheart, you are not destined for this. You are not cut out for it. I do think you and I are biased. Obviously, we have a strong mindset because we read a lot and we're our associations. But in real estate, I mean, every deal, I don't think I've ever had a lay down. Every deal was a fire. It was a cluster. It was a headache. So I'm used to it. and the size commissions that we get paid, put your big boy pants on and get to work. Like, let's freaking go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to kind of, take a different spin on this. Obviously with our background in real estate, this is something that comes up a lot. Obviously we are in direct conversation with peers from the real estate community. My humble opinion, this is a no-brainer to be adding solar to your business. How do you see solar shaping real estate for the foreseeable future?
Look, I have a very blunt statement I tell real estate agents, right? Like, this is uncensored. So when you said you were doing an uncensored podcast, I was like, man, it's right up my alley. Here's a message to real estate agents and those in the real estate industry, lending, home inspection, that sort of thing. This business opportunity pairs well with what you're doing now, because the ideal client portfolio, or excuse me, profile for somebody to purchase solar is the clients that you've already sold or have relationships with.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So, for real estate agents, your past clients, your current clients. And why is that? Because they're homeowners. But more so than that, if we go back to where the vision of what solar is going to be, it's going to be the solar revolution, right? It's going to be how homes power themselves, right? How homeowners get their electricity. Well, if you sell homes, here's something that you have to be very keenly aware of and understand, that your perception and mindset around solar right now, it's the leading indicator to what your business will look like in the future. And the reason why I say that is because if you sell homes and you don't like solar, and homes are going to have solar, you're going to have a very difficult time selling homes in the future.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
I will be glad to say it louder for people in the back. And again, if you sell homes and you desire to be selling homes 5, 10, 15 years from now, and the majority of homes will have solar, and you don't like solar, you won't be selling homes. And here's why. Because there are real estate. I mean, Aaron, and we'll probably talk about this. We're in business with people in real estate that are doing some very big business. Okay. They're business minded. They're opportunists. They see the opportunity. They know what the future looks like. They're jumping on board with us. We'll provide them the leverage, the whole 9 yards. They're the ones that are looking at, like, how do I corner the market with this?
Correct.
There's going to be an agent that's going to come to the market. They're going to be green certified, and they're going to say, hey, when your real estate agent does not want to sell your house because you have solar, call me. I specialize in it. That person's going to move your cheese. That person's going to take your market share. And when that person does, just like in every business and every industry, duplication and replication happens. It's like the 4-minute mile, right? Took decades for a human being to break the 4-minute mile. Roger Bannister does it, and within 12 months, 13 other human beings do it. So the people that are getting involved in solar right now in the real estate industry, you're getting out in front of the market. If you need certainty, you're going to be behind the 8 ball, probably like you always are.
Facts, man. Right? I mean, you hit the nail on the head on this. I'll go ahead and tease it too. At the time of recording this, our team with our solar company is over 300 sales professionals strong. And we've only been doing this 6-7 months. Brand new to solar. I mean, Chris said it, we could barely spell the word. In fact, I probably couldn't spell the word if we're being brutally honest. But we know how to build. We know a business model, and that's who we're attracting. Yeah. Of that number, and I'll throw a percentage out just for, I don't know, because I need to. I can't validate it 100%. But I would estimate about 80% of our sales organization here with our solar company comes from real estate, either real estate or lending. It's just because of who we bump shoulders with. It's a natural marriage for what he just said. But the interesting thing, he was teasing one of our business partners. There's a couple that jump out of mind, but this one individual does over 250 million yearly in sales, like a killer. He's the number one agent. I'm going to go and say it. Number one agent in the state of Arizona for EXP. He literally saw the same video that Chris saw and jumped in. The video wasn't even done. And the reason I share that with you, smart people make business decisions quickly. When they see something, they jump. It's not one of those, let me sleep on it, let me pray on it, let me bounce it against my spouse, let me take it here, let me take it to someone that's never owned a business, get their advice. They get it. They understand the model. They might not have all the answers. Like, this guy sure as heck didn't know how he was going to squeeze it into what he was already doing, but he also wasn't going to miss an opportunity, right? So I want you guys to pick up on that. Leaders make decisions, right? Chris, you always ask me, let me ask you, how is wealth built? Feels good to fire it back on you.
Yeah, man, I wasn't prepared for this one. How is wealth built? Wealth is first in your head, right? Like everything else, it's always mindset. I learned a long time ago from Tony Robbins that champions win the championship in their head before they ever win it out on the field, right? They've been dreaming about this since they were a kid, right? Like winning the World Series. They fought to get to the big leagues, not because they wanted to get to the big leagues, but because they wanted to win the World Series, right? Or the Super Bowl in football. Wealth is built when you're dreaming of it, right? Like when you're envisioning the life that you have with wealth, and then you go find the opportunity that can fund it, right? And then it's not just, I mean, we can get real deep on this, but real surface, I think is where you're trying to go. Yeah. You got to first find the opportunity, right? You got to find the opportunity that can generate the income. And then you got to be smart about keeping that income. And that's probably a whole separate podcast.
Can I add a wrinkle to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, in fact, I know you did. You taught me this years ago. Wealth to me is built on positioning and not following.
Yeah.
Like that's huge, like really, really big. Like I know for a fact, every agent that we're talking to that's not with us yet, for whatever reason, God bless them, they're coming. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But how much of the pie do you want? Like,
how do you get out in front of the market, right?
Correct. Well, by the way, like, one of the number one, negative feedback I get, and I still get it to this day, is agents that I reached out to 5 years ago when we helped launch EXP in South Carolina and Virginia saying, man, I missed it. Like I didn't see what you saw and God darn it. Like, why did I miss it? And I say, oh my gosh, I got another one for you. Right. It's the same thing here. Don't miss it. Don't miss it.
Well, look at, let me touch on this real quick. Call your local board of realtors, right? And call them up and say, hey, out of curiosity, how many licensed real estate agents are there in this market? In Myrtle Beach, there's, I think, 4,000, 5,000. Okay. You know how many solar professionals there are in Myrtle Beach? I think 5.
Yeah. I'll give you another example.
We'll say 10 because maybe there's 2 working per company.
You're probably being generous with that too.
Same amount of homes that you can sell per se in real estate, but the competition, we're out in front of this, right? We're building the wealth. And on top of that, you need a compensation. Can we go on the compensation model?
That was the next question.
Oh, all right. All right. Wealth is not built on earned income, right? Which means you exchanging your time for money, whether it's, even if you're like a commission-based salesperson, lender, mortgage, insurance, real estate agent, if you have to produce in order to generate income, right? Outcome equals income sort of thing, right? Output equals income. If you don't have leveraged income, you'll never be wealthy. Yep. You'll never be wealthy. It's a fact, right? And so when we saw this model that we affiliated with, 5 sources of income. And the crazy part about this is 3 to 4 of them could easily, that's what I saw, like 3 to 4 of those 5 sources of income could easily be 6-figure annual up to 6-figure monthly incomes.
Yep.
That's how big this was, or is still, but what I saw when I watched that video.
Yeah, 100%, man. Let's have the income conversation. I think it's important. This is uncensored. So if I get in trouble, I get in trouble. It is what it is. We'll ask for forgiveness later. One of the problems with talking to the agent community is in most markets, we're blinded by very, very large commissions. Very blinded. I happen to live in Northern Virginia, the DMV area, Maryland, the District of Columbia. We have commissions easily above $15,000, like we just do. And so to be able to talk to an agent who's used to that and get them to expand their leveraged income to something else that pays $50, pays $100, it just doesn't get them excited. And one of the things we saw with solar, and by the way, full disclosure, we're not here to just preach our company. We love solar as a whole, and we're trying to come from contribution. That's why we've been very selective, not even to use that word. So I can't speak for every company, right? But I can speak for ours. I can speak for what we're cashing and what we're seeing. Average commission with our company we're now in, I think, 24 states, Puerto Rico included, is over $10,000 a sale. Whoa! All of a sudden, you start to get real estate agents' attention, LOs, lenders' attention from that, right? It's huge. Let's talk dollars real quick. What are we seeing on our sales team? What type of incomes have you seen people make, man? And keep, please remember this. Sorry to cut you off. We've only been here 6-7 months. Yeah. That's the other key. I meet people in other businesses where it took them 20 years to get to that $1 million. And that's great. God bless them. I'm not knocking them. I don't have 20 years to spend.
Yeah. You know, the best part about this is the opportunity. I mean, there's the income and then there's the opportunity that couples with the income, right? Like we've got a real estate agent under you that he's full-time pastor in his church, right? Part-time real estate agent, which I always laugh at that because you look at his real estate numbers and they're not part-time by any means. Like what, $20-25 million?
Yeah, it is about 20 million in sales. No EA, no assistant, all by himself. God bless him.
And that's the guy that should have told you, like, hey, I got too much on my plate. I can't take anything more. This guy comes in, right? Follows our model, and in his first 30 days, books $96,000 worth of commissions.
Let's recap that.
I'm not even sure he knows how to spell. I don't even think he cares how solar is spelled. Right? No, just follow the model.
Amazing dude. Comes from, man of God, like Chris said. First 30 days teamed up with us. First 30 days, $96,000 in earned commissions. Part-time. Yeah. He can't even attend to half of our stuff because he's at church or he's out serving his clients. I still get calls from him, and I'm going to bring him on as a guest. It slowed down a little bit. I probably get it weekly now. Aaron, are you sure this is legal? Like, can this be? And I laugh every single time. Like, that's what we're doing. Like, this guy already makes, I'm going to guess $400,000 to $500,000 because he runs lean, doesn't have any admin or office space or anything with his real estate. But to be able to add a 7-figure a year business, already talking to the same people he was helping with houses.
Right. Well, and that's probably, people that are going to watch this, the first thing they're thinking, what did he do? I'll tell you exactly what he did. He went to his past client database. Right. Yep. He went to the people that know, like, and trust him because he serviced them in real estate and said, hey, I've got an opportunity that can solve a problem, hedge against inflation, lower your electricity bills, create massive tax credits for you, and add more value to your home. Are you interested? And a lot of people said yes. Right.
100%.
And now, right, I just talked to him the other day. He called me about something. And, I'm seeing his name pop up on the leaderboard. I'm like, what you doing out there, Pat? Like, who are you talking to? And he's like, I'm only talking to the people. He said, Chris, and he's got like a little African accent. And he's like, Chris, and I love his accent. I'm only talking to the people I'm already talking to.
Yep.
Like, guys, this is what we need to get about this opportunity. If you're thinking, oh, I can't put another thing on my plate. I don't have time, blah, blah, blah. You're already talking to people. Patrick is making a killing, and he'll say it over and over again because I'm waiting for him to drop me that one bomb. He's gonna, I know it, but he never does. You want to know why? I'm just talking to the people I'm already talking to.
Great.
It's one more conversation.
I wasn't going to ask this, but I have to now that you said it. I'm focused on my one thing. I'm focused on home buyers and sellers. I cannot stand when agents say it. What is your view? Hit that quickly if you don't mind.
I love it. Thank you. You're focused on your one thing. You possess the very ingredient to be massively successful. Can I show you how to add a little bit more money to that one thing? That's it. Right? So like, listen to what Patrick's saying. I'm only talking to the people that I'm already talking to. Well, if that's your focus, and if your focus is real estate and your past clients, like, let me ask you a question. Are you beating them up for referrals? If you're not, that's poor real estate practices. Yep. If you are, right, how about just adding in the conversation? Like Patrick is saying, like, hey, I got an opportunity that can help lower your electricity costs every month, hedge against inflation, add value to home, and experience massive tax credits. And you probably could even get paid to do it as well. Are you interested?
Yep. Here's the other question, too, to the real estate professionals watching this. And I know there's going to be thousands of them with our influence and who we hang out with. How else are you monetizing the relationship of a past client?
Right.
Right. I mean, depending on what source, people are moving every 7 to 10 years. It slowed down a little bit more because of COVID. So you could argue, higher on that 10. How else do you monetize it? And
Well,
some doc's going to say referrals. And I get it. There are some rock star referral agents. Most are not. Like, let's not kid ourselves.
right.
If that 10-year period you picked up 2 referrals, that's fantastic. Maybe you made an extra 15, 20, 25,000. Here's the other piece with solar, Chris. Honestly, this drives me, and you can tell I'm passionate about it. I hope I'm not yelling into the mic too much anyway. If you don't reach out to your past clients about solar, they're going to go somewhere else for solar. I want to control that relationship. I worked hard for that relationship. Yeah, I don't want Chris Hart selling them solar. I want to sell them solar. I want to make sure they're taken care of.
And you're going to lose them as a real estate client. You want to know why? Because when it comes time to go to market, they're not going to call you because you wanted nothing to do with solar. You're the one that told them, don't go solar. It doesn't this. There's nothing but problems. But we're going to show them the value of going solar. We're going to show them that there's real estate agents on our team in your market that are going to be green certified, highly trained agents that can get your home sold when it has solar. So not only are you going to lose out on the solar income, but you're going to lose out on the real estate income. And that's why I say your mindset and perspective around solar right now is the leading indicator of what your business will look like in the future.
Love it, bro. You didn't know I was going to do this, but I had to reward you for being here and being the first guest. So there are 2 things I want to plug quickly, and then I have one wrap-up question. First and foremost, and I'm sorry, man, but I'm opening it up to our friends here listening to the podcast. Chris obviously is one of the leaders on our solar sales team, just kicks ass. And in fact, normally the stuff that he's offering to our team, he charges, $1,500 an hour for. Hopefully I didn't undercut you because of inflation. I'm sure numbers are going up, which is great. You deserve it. But the one I just threw up for those of you watching this on YouTube via video is chrishartzoom.com. I will say it again, chrishartzoom.com. Every single Friday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. If you're on the wrong coast, which is the West Coast, I'm just kidding. Hop on. We have people hopping on at 6:30 in the morning. Chris leads the best role play and scripting framework course I've ever seen, centered around solar. So this is for solar professionals. If you're in the real estate space, you want to peel the curtain back, look behind and see what we're up to. Hop on. He opens it up. We're not collecting any information. This is 100% value add. I just want to say thank you to Chris. These events sell out every single Friday. So this one on 9:30 a.m. I'm not going to go into what we're covering this week, just because I don't know when you're catching this, but it's going to be fire. It's going to be fire. If you're watching this early in March, be there on Friday, 9:30 a.m. One last thing I want to show real quick. Chris has created a private Facebook group. Many of his coaching clients are in there, but hopefully he doesn't get mad at me. We are going to open this up, or he's going to open it up. I can't take any credit here. And that is facebook.com/groups, plural, /solar scripting. That is where you'll see all of the courses that Chris teaches. By the way, everything in there is free. Everything. I say courses, free courses. He has, through his heart, God, whatever you want to call it, has opened up his playbook. He's just trying to pour into people that want to take this thing to the next level. So I would hop on both of those, chrishartzoom.com, facebook.com/groups, /solar scripting, if I can get that out, so that you can get plugged into our ecosystem and see what we're all about. And our final question for you, Chris, is what would you say, I'm going to tailor it a little bit, to a brand new, to a real estate professional, loan officer, lender jumping into solar, either with us or with another team, another company? What advice do you have for someone brand new getting into solar?
Yeah, they're already in. Is that the
yeah, they just joined today. Hey, Chris, I'm signing up, man. It makes sense.
Okay. Trust your leadership, right? Be a great follower. Follow your leader's lead. We've already paved the path. We've worked out the kinks. We've beta tested it. We've real tested it. Somebody's made $96,000. Follow the model. The second you jump off the path and want to do your own thing, you're on your own, and good luck trying to figure that piece out. Okay. Yep. We've got the leverage. We've got the model, and we have the opportunity. Those are all the pieces to be successful. Don't overthink this, right? There's some like engineering stuff, but you don't need super smart intellect to do this. And so don't bring super smart intellect and try and outsmart the process. This is still sales at the end of the day. And it's simple, but it does require some, minute focus. And so If you need leverage, right? If you have a big business already, we've got the leverage for you. If you don't want to overthink it, we got the scripts, the models, the activities, the letters you can send out to your database, the marketing, you name it. Jump on board, plug in, follow the model, ride the wave.
Love it. Chris, I appreciate you, man. Obviously you're the real deal. Honored to call you a best friend, honored to call you a business partner. I know my family feels the same way. Guys and gals watching this today or listening via the podcast, I have a favor. I have an ask, right? If you got any value from something I said, I know you got value from Chris, so I won't even ask that question. Do us a favor and rate the podcast and leave a review. It would mean the world to us. We don't get paid for doing this. We just want to bring constant value. We have some amazing co-hosts and speakers lined up. Really, we've mapped it out now for the next several months that we're going to be bringing to you weekly. So we're really excited about it. Hopefully you guys got value. Chris, once again, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you hopefully not yelling at me for sharing your role play call and also your private Facebook group. I know you're going to get hit up with lots of new people in there. Guys and gals, I hope you guys all have a great rest of the day. Get after it. Go lead by example. Go chase your dreams. Go be a person that will just wants more out of life. I appreciate all of you. Be safe, be great, and God bless. We'll talk soon. Chris, thanks again, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.